We're going to be watching Jasen Lopez right now, just committed to Florida State yesterday, and I'm very excited to watch this kid for one specific reason. When he committed, there were a lot of Miami fans. They weren't necessarily mad, like, oh, I can't believe we didn't get this kid, but they're like, you know what, I'll tell you, I'll give Florida State respect. This kid's a hell of a football player. So for Miami fans to say that about a kid that says he's going to be wearing garnet and gold for the next 3-4 years, pretty indicting, I think, of this kid's game. But 2026, 5'10", 165 from Chaminade-Madonna in Hollywood, Florida, the same school that put Jeremiah Smith into college football and JoJo Trader as well. Just a couple years ago that was, and I'm sure there's countless other names that I'm not saying right now, but certainly has a rich history of producing receivers. This kid's also playing basketball for Florida State. And usually when you hear that, you'll watch the kids, you'll hear about them talk about the basketball kid, and they'll be like, okay, this kid's a football player, but he's also playing basketball. Or, you know, you could tell he's definitely better at one, but to this kid's credit, from what I read, this kid's a hell of a basketball player also. Like, not a kid that's just going to go to school just to play football and then just ride the bench on basketball. At 5'10", obviously, at point guard, it's probably a bit limiting, but this kid's certainly respected in both sports. And, you know, that's been done before recently. You remember Keon Coleman, before he got to Florida State, played both at Michigan State. Obviously, these two are very different players just based on their size, but there are certainly aspects of basketball that translate onto the football field, and I think we've seen that with this kid so far. And I think he does a lot of things that you probably wouldn't see show up in the basketball field that show up a lot of basketball court. But at 5'10", we're probably going to be talking about slot receiver with this kid. So we need to see a great ability to separate, great change of direction, very explosive, and I think he checks the boxes in that regard. You see just how sudden he is running routes. I actually think he's a pretty refined route runner. Like a lot of these kids in high school, you'll see the change of direction ability when they have the ball in their hand, but sometimes the route running is just not that natural. And that's something to clean up at the next level. But with this kid already going to a school with a history of developing receivers, I think you kind of already see that change of direction showing up as a route runner. And you certainly see it with him with the ball in his hand also. So sometimes with these dual sport athletes, we'll be talking about them as a project, but I really don't think that's the case with this kid here, Jasen Lopez. And then love seeing the basketball stuff show up on the football field like that. But you know, I think this is the best play on the highlight tape. I've already watched this before. You know, he's pretty much dead to rights here, and most athletes at this point of the play are out of gas already. Just because he's already ran like 15 yards total, and he's able to just put on the jets here at 20, 30 yards. I think you kind of, you know, like I said, early in the tape, we already checked the boxes, and now we're just adding things that make me higher on him. So now the discussion becomes, oh, King Cold, if he's so good, why is he only a 3-star? Why is this kid not ranked higher on 24/7? And it's for something that he can't control. Just at 5'10", he's going to be limited, like I said, probably into the slot. I don't think that's a bad thing. You look at what Florida State already has in their 26 class. I don't think they have a player like him. That's not necessary to say he's better than Devin Carter or Brandon Bennett. He just offers a completely different skill set than either of them two do. No real other issues I can find with his game, though. You guys will have to let me know if I'm maybe overlooking something, but every time I always go to say something and I'm like, oh, maybe this kid long speed's not that good, and then you just see him, like I said, hit the Jets at 30 yards, 20 yards, and all of a sudden that's no longer a concern. But naturally at 5'10", he's going to be a bit limited in what he does at the next level, but I'm not too concerned about it. Obviously, that's something on every school's mind, and I think the film speaks for itself and immediately absolves any issues that you have with his frame. But if you want to know why he's not a 4-star, why he's not a 5-star, that's why. But you watched Lazier Brooks last year, similar frame. I honestly want to say he was a bit smaller at like 5'9". Same thing, 24/7 was hella stingy with the 4th star on that kid. All right, we'll call it here. So I think I did a pretty good job of wrapping up this kid's game throughout the video. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think if you're excited for him. I'm sure you are if you're a Florida State fan. But, one thing y'all could do is I'm not a basketball guy by any means. You guys let me know how his basketball game is. Obviously going to play point guard or definitely a guard, definitely not a center at 5'10". We're not talking about this kid being a paint beast. But thanks for watching, and you guys let me know what you think.